Get on.
Welcome to Assembly Buildings. Just before we get underway tonight, there's a few things sort of need to be said about the last time. Word is rampant in Northern Ireland that Larry Norman is dead. So I phoned him and I said, Larry, word has it that you're dead? And he said, yeah. He said, I heard that rumour, but he said I asked a few people and they said it wasn't true, so Larry's back in the States, he's doing well, and he sends his best wishes to you. The night of that concert, there was a young girl here from England who came and had a chat with me about something, and I promised her I would write to her and send her something. But in the mayhem that was that evening, I lost her address. Now, she was here with people from Northern Ireland, and her name was Lucy Lewis. So if anyone here knows where she lives, I'd really appreciate it if you come and tell me at the interval, because she'll be thinking that, I just didn't bother. So I'd appreciate it if you do that. Some people have already been asking tonight, what's next as far as concerts are concerned. To some degree, that depends on yourselves, because we gave the survey out tonight so that we could find out the sort of people you want to see. When we were offered Judy Miller, we didn't really know what sort of response to expect to ticket sales. And when you're bringing someone from as far as Nashville, obviously it costs a fair bit to do that. So if people would fill those surveys, then it really would be a major help to us in letting us know who you would pay to come and see. So take a minute and think if there are artists who aren't listed, then just write their name in, and that would be a major help to us. You can either leave your survey under your chair, or there's a box in the foyer you can put them in, and there's about 100 pens outside as well if you've no pen on you. I really would appreciate it if you do that. I promised Tony McCauley from Downtown Radio would give him a mention, because Tony has plugged the concert very well for us. He does a very good show on a Sunday afternoon on Downtown Radio from 3 to 4, and you will hear all the latest news of what's happening on that as well, so that is worth a listen. I'll leave you now for 2 minutes just before we get underway, and then we'll come back and get into the concert. Thanks very much. I first heard Judy Miller's music about 3 years ago when her debut album came out, Meet Judy Miller. And it's an album, if you've heard it, which the lyrical content and the vocal style are quite unique to Christian music. I've really looked forward, since I knew 5 months ago that she was coming tonight, to standing here and welcoming her on stage. I know that you're looking forward to doing that as well, so I would ask you to do it now. Please welcome Judy Miller.
So I give these pieces all to you. If you want it, you can have my heart. So beyond repair, nothing I could do. Tried to fix it myself, but it was only worse when I got through. But then you walk right into my darkness, and you speak words so sweet, and you hold me like a child till my frozen tears fall at your feet. You can have my heart if you don't mind walking. You can have my life, give my knees to you. Well, I've heard that you make all things new, so I give these pieces all to you. If you want it, you can have my heart. Thank you so much. way, this is my band, Buddy Miller, over here. I have this little story I tell before this next song. We were at the Newark airport. This is in New Jersey. And I'd gone to the newsstand, and I was kind of spacing out on this little kid. He was in the newsstand. I was just kind of like staring at him, not knowing I was staring at him. But he was just so precious. I'm always taken with children so much. They're just so incredible. And I was looking at this little precious boy. He's probably about 3 or 4 years old. And he was looking at something about a foot off the ground, you know, down by the gum and the candy. And I thought, what's that precious little boy looking at for so long? And he stepped back, and my heart just exploded. This precious little child was going through a pornographic magazine, and I don't know, it just took me by surprise so much. I'm usually pretty, try to be extra polite, kind of one of those people-pleasing kind of persons. And something happened though, and I heard myself yelling really loud, excuse me, but you're gonna be recorded. These have to be moved, and they have to be moved now. And I was going on and on and on like this, and everybody in the whole newsstand was staring at me, except for the person who worked there. The lady behind the cash register would not look at me. And like I was hearing this voice, I was like God's police, you know, voice. It was shaking all over. I thought, what? Who's saying this? Then I saw myself pick up the whole stack. Firmly placed them next to her there on the near the cash register, and I heard myself say, they have to be moved, and they have to be moved now. And right at that moment, I realized a policeman was standing next to me. And I thought, this is so cool. I mean, this is just why it is just so cool to be a Christian, and it's God's timing and everything, and you're just in the will of God, and God just sends the policeman right when you want him, and they're gonna get busted, and it's just, I'm just gonna get to watch, you know? And suddenly he took me by the arm and started reprimanding me. No, I was totally confused that I thought, oh, he doesn't understand. And I'll explain it. You see, officer, see this precious little boy right here? They've got this trash down by the gum and the candy, and there's nothing over it, and it's not up high, and it's not behind a counter. I mean, it's just down there, and he's going through it. And the policeman said, do you know what the definition of pornography is? And I said, well, isn't Penthouse pornography? I mean, is there something more besides Penthouse? I mean, Penthouse seems to fit the definition. And then I said, you mean there's no law against this? And he said, no. It was like he was glad to be defending these people's right to put this trash in front of this precious little child. And something just broke within me. And I started weeping and weeping. And I couldn't talk anymore, hardly at all. All I could say between sobs was, I remember hearing myself say, please care about the children. And about this time, the manager came up. It was quite a scene actually at that point, you know. Everyone in there was still watching the whole event, you know, and I couldn't hardly be understood, but I said enough to the manager, when he walked up, I'm weeping and weeping and weeping and weeping, and I say, please care about the children. And he goes, oh, pats me on the shoulder, I'm so sorry. Oh, we'll move them right away. And the policeman thinks, he goes, they're gonna move them. But it really gets me so mad. I just really get mad the way this world exploits children for money. One reason, money. They don't care. It's everywhere. You know, it advertises everything. I saw, when we were driving down the street last night, some Haagen-Dazs commercial. It looks like a seductive sort of scene to sell a popsicle. And anyway, I wrote a song about this. This is making me sick, I can't stand it anymore. You make sex so dirty. Let me at the door, what was supposed to be personal? Supposed to be clean, supposed to be private. You make a sex scene. Exploit the weak. You think they go too young and know the lies you speak. It's one commercial. You don't care what it costs to get your butt, but you don't care if it's so good. I think got sex being abused. Sick of sex being used and misused. I think got sex being used and confused by the lies used and tell me. Take me down to you and intimidate anybody who don't think like you. You make people less than animals, turn a child into a whore. Make a precious thing worthless with the sin like a more. You seem sophisticated, but you're so depraved. You turn them into a lie, so there's nothing left to say. Your corruption spreads around just like a rash. You dehumanize us all with this stupid trash. Sick of sex being abused. Sick of sex being used and misused. Confused by the lies you tell me. What's a child supposed to think by the picture he gets? You rip off his self-respect with no regrets. You could leave the atmosphere to suffocate. I'm gonna send it like can't see straight. I'm sick of sex being abused. Sick of sex being used and abused. I'm sick of sex being used and abused. Some of you probably are big fans of a songwriter named Mark Hurd. And Mark was a friend, and Mark went to be with the Lord last year, 40 years old. And when you lose someone that's a friend or even closer, it really brings home the realization of how numbered our days are and how every day really matters. And we wrote this song for our friend Mark.
When I go, don't cry for me. In my Father's arms I'll be. The wounds this world left on my soul will all be Sun and moon will be replaced with the light of Jesus' face. And I will not be ashamed, for my Savior knows my name. It don't matter where you bury me, I'll be home and I'll be free. It don't matter where I lay, all my tears be washed away. Gold and silver blind the eye, temporary riches lie. So come and eat at heaven's store, come and drink and thirst no more. So weep not for me, my friend, when my time the Lord does leave. For my life belongs to Him, who will raise the dead again. It don't matter where you bury me, I'll be home and I'll be free. It don't matter where I lay, all my tears be washed away.
Thank you. I just saw that thing scare the daylights. That's freaky. Let's put a mustache on it. Oh, yes. Well, husbands are very helpful. Some of you, I want to apologize to you for Victoria Williams not being able to be here. She really wanted to be here, and but you know, probably that she came down with MS last year, and so the trip was a little bit too much for her. But we're going to do this song that Victoria and I wrote for this last record, and it's called Angels Dance. Come down to the river with me. Come lay down your heart at the shore. We'll jump into the waters of life. kind of low mid thing. All the mistakes I've made tonight have been all because of that. That's a joke. Totally kidding. Oh, well. The last few years of walking with the Lord, I actually came to follow Jesus in 1980. And before that, I'd actually grown up in Texas, which is why I said you sounded like you're from Texas. I meant that as a compliment. And down there in Texas, that's in the Bible Belt, and we went to church, and then I'd come home from church, and it would be really scary and awful at home. And I tried to be a good girl for Jesus off and on growing up, and be good for God. I'm going to be a missionary and read the Bible all the way through. And but there was just not. I was blind. I mean, I would go to school and cheat on tests, and it would never occur to me that you just cheated on a test. You should go and tell that you cheated on this test and not do it anymore. You know, it was just never entered my mind, you know. And then I wanted to be a singer, and so I started singing in bands, and I would have to drink a lot to get on stage because inside I felt so much like a little child. I was scared to death. I was so scared I wouldn't even be able to sing. I just couldn't breathe, and I just couldn't sing anything. So I'd have to drink a lot so I could act like the cool, sexy barroom chick singer. And halfway through the night, the pretense of all of it would get so overwhelming to me. I would just go outside in the parking lot and scream and look for trash cans to get in and bang my head against brick walls. And then I'd get to where I'd just find stuff and cut myself up with it and scratch myself and pull out my hair and bite myself. It was just overwhelming me, and I would just feel like I was in hell on earth. And my friends, like Buddy was a friend at that time, they would come up to me and I would think they were monsters. I was just in another place. And at one point, I found myself in this mental institution. And this psychiatrist came in and he said, if I had 3 wishes, what would they be? And I looked down at the bandages on my wrists and my little rubber shoes they gave me, and I thought, what am I trying to do? I'm pouring my actual blood out. I would walk around Manhattan in the middle of the night and ask people to kill me. Will you kill me? It was like I was trying to die so bad, and I thought, what am I doing? I'm giving my life up for something. What am I doing? And it was like the Spirit of truth came over me. And I didn't know it was the Holy Spirit at that time. But I know now, because the truth, it was like all of a sudden I looked at that psychiatrist and I just said, I just want to know what the truth is. I don't know what it is, but there's something that just is. And it's not like, this is true for you, but this is true for me, and it's all relative. I said, there's something that just is. And I think God must have taken that as a prayer, because First of all, Jesus is the truth. He says he's the truth. And he says if you look for the truth with all your heart, you'll find it. And I think God brought me right into a place where I got really desperate. And because over the next few months, everywhere I go, it was kind of like God went, she wants to know the truth? Okay. I'd get on a plane, a Christian would be sitting next to me, send me a Bible in the mail. I'd get on a bus, New York City, a Christian was sitting next to me. It's like everywhere I'd go, it would be like, God's after me. And that, finally, one weekend, the whole band had gone out of town for to play at this bar, and we played that Friday night, and Saturday the guys in the band were going to the movies, and we were driving down this road in this van, and I looked out the window of the van, and there was a sign on the side of the road that said, Conference on the Holy Spirit, and it had an arrow pointing. It was like, she wants to know, so let's make it really clear. How about a nice big arrow sign on the road? And so the guys in the band went to the movies, and I didn't tell them where I was going, but I ran to where this sign was, and then I was tired by the time I got there, and I saw this sign was pointing to this church, and I felt like it had a cross on the front of it, and I felt like the Lord said, if you look at that cross, keep your eyes on that cross, you can run the rest of the way. And I just kept my eyes on it, and I just ran and ran until I got to the steps of this church, and I went inside, and nobody was there. I just was sitting there. It was like, I didn't know why I was there, but I knew I was supposed to be there. I just was compelled by the Spirit of God to just go there. And this man came out after a little while, and he said, are you Sister Ruth? And I said, no, not even close. And I told him my whole story, and he said, well, let's just go to the altar and pray right now. I just went up and I knelt down, and I prayed with this dear man, and I gave my life to the Lord, and I called the guys, the bar, and I said, you're not going to believe this, buddy. He was my boyfriend, and he was Jewish, so he really didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I mean, he is still, but I just given my life to Jesus, and I can't come back. And the Lord did this incredible, instantaneous, I was so bad off, he had to do a lot of instantaneous healing, emotionally speaking. Well, I thought it was going to be dun da da da, everything is wonderful from now on, and now, it's 13 years later, I think, I should have been a spiritual giant by now, and instead, it's been like, the Lord, I thought, I got back into that being for good for God thing, and I would try so hard, I'd be really down on myself, I'd start to pray over my food, and I would just feel like, oh God, I'm so hypocritical, I'm not really grateful enough, and God's probably just disgusted, and I just focus on my sin and my selfishness and my weaknesses and failures and everything, and feel like, just not feel God's acceptance. And the Lord has brought me to a place in the last few years where He's taken me back to being like a little child, and He's showing me how He really feels about me, and He's not the harsh father that I make Him out to be sometimes. And I know that if your parents treat you bad when you're little, it's real easy to put their face on God when you get older. And I know that that's what I've done a lot of times. And God just, He just shows me little kittens and says, that's me right there, that's what I'm like. I do things like that, I make things like that for people. And I look at little children, I see how much adults just love to hold their little children. And that's what God speaks to me, is that He just wants to hold me, and I don't have to be performing anything or doing anything or accomplishing anything. God takes pleasure just in holding me. And this next song, I spent some of the last few years in a group of Christian women of incest survivors. And it's blown my mind how many people in church were molested when they were little. And this song talks about how it feels to somebody who's been through that. She puts on a smile just like the lipstick that she wears. She gives herself amnesia to anesthetize the shame. She knows it isn't real, but she can't afford to feel what there's something her soul can't forget. She can use a smile just like a barrier. She can count the pieces of her heart. She can be anybody that you want her to be. She doesn't know how to feel precious to God. Pretend to be a saint. She knows that there are secrets daddies have that little girls must keep, but she doesn't know where the children go when home is where the hurt is. She can use a smile just like a barrier. She can count the pieces of her heart. She can say her prayers and she knows all the right words, but she doesn't know how to feel precious to God. Very much. And I just wanted to say to those of you who find it hard to feel precious to God, just look at some of the parents when they're holding their little children and how much they just love to do that, and know that that's God's heart for you. And just let that get into your heart. Don't let the devil ride. Don't let the devil ride. Don't let the devil you will tell you what to do. Don't let him talk to you. But
don't let him be your boss. Don't let him be your boss. Don't let him be your boss. So be lost. Don't let him be your boss.
You've all been sitting so kindly for so long, I thought some of you might have to go to the bathroom. so hey, let's all just take a break and go to the bathroom. And we'll be back here in about 10 minutes. Is that what it is? 10 minutes. We're going to go learn some more songs and be right back.
This is the last gig in 3 really that we've done over the summer, and there's a lot of kids that work incredibly hard putting up posters around Belfast. We put up, believe it or not, 1,700 posters for those 3 gigs, and it's kids sort of from 11 to 14 years old who do it, and they do it at 3 o'clock in the morning some mornings. So I just want to thank them, and I want you to thank them. It's all the kids in this red shirt. Yeah, if you're in here. If you're in here, kids, would you just stand up? If you're in here, I can't see you anyway because I can't see a thing. So that's the kids, and actually I can see if they're there or not. But so thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure for us to have Buddy and Judy with us. They're totally spaced out, but it's absolutely wonderful to have them on stage in Belfast. So please, once again, welcome them back.
caught in a world a child could not survive. Don't be seduced by her demeanor and walk on by like you never seen her. She's just a lost little girl. She keeps it all on the inside. She just got caught in a world a child could not survive. She's just a lost little girl. She seems so hungry to try, but she's been taught by the world that she's dangerous. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I told you a whole lot of the story and everything, but then I didn't tell you about the part about Buddy after I left, and it was kind of like I didn't even come back to pick up my clothes or my guitar, or my cat, or my guitar, car, nothing. It's a long story. I never can figure out exactly how to edit it all, but what ended up happening was I realized that I met these people who had been praying for me that didn't even know me, and that's why the Spirit of God was just like so strongly upon my life. But when I didn't even know that it was the Lord for the longest time, and so I realized the power of prayer. And so everybody I would meet that was a Christian, I'd say, you know, I'm glad to meet you. Will you please pray for Buddy Miller? And Buddy was my boyfriend before I came to the Lord. And 6 months after I came to the Lord, Buddy came to the Lord too. And that was about 11 or 12 years ago. Then we got married. At our 10th anniversary last year. Baby. And this is he still likes me, can't you tell? Definitely have been no marriage, much less a great one. And this was our wedding song, and we thought we'd just like to sing it for you. Nothing has touched me. before. Before I was with the Lord, I found myself pregnant. And I went down to the free clinic, got my free test, got my free abortion, got free punch and cookies when I was done to make myself feel better. And I went on my way, and I didn't, my thinking was so backwards that this boyfriend who was the father, I went to him and I said, what would you do if I had kept this baby? And he said, I'd never speak to you again. And I, in my backwards mind, thought, yeah, to have it would be so irresponsible. You shouldn't speak to me again. Because that was just a form of birth control as far as I knew. I mean, everybody did it. And about sometime after this abortion, I saw on TV, it's like a documentary of the stages of an unborn child. And they had this little unborn child. It was about 6 weeks, with little fingers and little toes, little arms, eyes. And I looked at that and I thought, wow, that's just tissue? It looks like somebody. I could look at it, and if the world still told me, no, that's not a human being, I could be deceived just like that, and I was. And after I came to the Lord, very slowly, very, very gently, has the Lord come to me and let me know that that was a child that He created. And it's very hard for me to face. But the Lord has never come with any condemnation at all to me. I just can't tell you how compassionate God has come to me. And a few years ago, I got to the place where I wrote this little child a letter. And I asked this little child to please forgive me. And I really felt like that the Lord said, this little child says He completely forgives you, and God is a perfect parent. And God, in the midst of something so wrong and bad, the Lord has brought a little piece of hope in that I know that after I see Jesus' face, this little child is the next face I'm going to look for. And I just want to sing this song for that little child and for all these other little children who nobody even says that they're people. Little ones to Him belong. Little ones, where have you gone? Was it a war that's still your voice? No, it was your mother's choice. Where was the dark?
will find you. When the hurt inside makes you wanna hide,
you can try, but we'll find you.
love will find you.
Love will find you when you're caught by a cloak of sorrow in the night. Or your heart gets lost without a trace. When you're in the darkness, there is still a shining light. You will see only Jesus' loving face. Yeah, yeah. When you're in the dark with a broken heart and you're lonely, love will find you. When the hurt inside makes you wanna hide, you can try, but we'll find you. There's no wall too high, but he can't break it down.
Break it
Oh,
down.
river too big, hole too deep, chains too strong, heart too dead. He can't get to you. Oh, he's gonna get to you. When you're in the dark with a broken heart, you're lonely, lonely. When the hurt inside makes you wanna hide, you can try, but we'll find you.
We'll find you.
We'll find you. Jesus gonna find you. Thank you so much. Well, here's one for the kids. Song I wrote to the devil called I'm Through With You. You want me to say things I don't want to say. You want me to play games I don't want to play. You want me to do things I don't want to do. So I don't like you anymore. Yeah, I'm through with you. I'm through with you and all you lies. No matter what you say, I'm telling you goodbye. I'm through with you. Now realize you had me on the string with Jesus, open up my eyes. I'm through with you. I'm through with you.
I'm through with you.
I'm through.
I'm through.
I'm through.
I'm through.
I'm through with you. Oh yeah, you seem like my friend. You acting really sweet, but you made lots of promises you didn't ever keep. All you ever wanted was to break my heart in two. So what I gotta say to you is now I'm through with you. I'm through with you and all you lies. It doesn't matter what you say, I'm telling you goodbye. I'm through with you. Now I realize you had me on a string, but you just opened up my eyes. I'm through with you.
I'm through. I'm through. I'm through with you.
I'm through. I'm through.
I'm through.
I'm through with you. Got to tell the people to monitor your tricks, 'cause they don't know that stealing souls is how you get your kicks. If someone told on you and showed me what is true, and then you came to rescue me, and now I'm through with you. I'm through with you and all your dirty lies. It doesn't matter what you say, I'm telling you goodbye. I'm through with you, 'cause now I realize you had me on a string, but Jesus opened up my eyes. I'm through with you and all your dirty lies. Doesn't matter what you say, I'm telling you goodbye. I'm through with you, 'cause now I realize you had me on a string, but Jesus opened up my eyes. I'm through with you.
I'm through. I'm through.
I'm through with you.
I'm through with you. I'm through. I'm through.
I'm through with you.
I'm through with you.
I'm through.
I'm through.
I'm through with you.
I'm through with you.
I'm through with you. Thank you so much. Reverend Dan Smith. Reverend Dan Smith is as cool as it gets. Reverend Dan Smith is so cool, I can't really describe it to you, but he's in his 80s. He's he's black, he grew up in the South, he's been through many hardships. His soul has the joy of God coming from out of him so much, it's just unbelievable. It's just incredible, and he writes and sings so cool, and he plays harmonica, and Buddy was playing guitar for him while for this record, and Buddy would play guitar as he would sing and blow harmonica. He did this for hours. He's got like all these diseases and stuff, you know. I mean, you'd think he'd be like laying down, and he just went on and on and on. After he got done, I said, Reverend Dan, how do you do that? He said, well, the one that gave me the gift, give me the strength to do it. And yeah. And he's just, I have the words to this song here that I don't, I think I might forget some of it, but I just wanted to sing you part of this song because it's so cool, especially if you think of Reverend Dan. This is a Reverend Dan song called I've Never Been to Seminary, but I've been to Calvary. I just wanted to share this with you. No I mean, this is incredible. He's so incredible. I said, Reverend Dan, you want some lunch? Want a sandwich? He says, well, anything's all right with me, except, he says, don't get me one of those, except don't give me one of those sea worm sandwiches. Then he goes, lobster. Like I was going for a lobster sandwich. I truly cannot tell you. I mean, I'm just overwhelmingly humbled and grateful to you for your sweet, sweet and kind, generous response to me. I'm just totally speechless. I just don't know what to say. I really just want to thank you so much. It really touched my heart. I always knew that Ireland was really, really a cool place. I'd never been here. I never imagined it was like this. I'm just blown away, and I just take your love as come from the Lord, and I just thank you for that. And before I go, I wanted to sing you this song. You know, I was thinking, maybe some of you are like, somehow you don't even know how you got here exactly. Kind of like I was like, found myself in that church. I didn't know. My heart knew I was supposed to be there, but my mind was freaking out going, I'm in a church? How did I get in this church? And God He just longs for us to come and be close to Him. The angry God that we think has got all these rules and He wants to punish us, it's not the God that brought me to Him. The God that brought me to Him was a God who let me see that there was nothing good in me. Not in a condemning way, just in the plain honest, the truth. And then He showed me how precious I was to Him. And He told me, He said, He showed me my life, and He said, I never wanted your life to be like this. It was just a hellish situation. It was a horrible thing. You know, I was so self-destructive and so feeling so worthless. You know, I walked outside one night outside of a bar, and some guy started talking to me, and then he suddenly drugged me off, and his friend and him raped me, and I got up and I thought, I should be screaming and hysterical. I've seen it on TV, and that's the way people are if they've been raped. But I didn't really feel, all I really thought was, oh, okay. And I went back, got on stage, just sang out the rest of the night. Because I felt like that's what should happen to me. And the Lord spoke to me and drew me to Himself. He said, the sweetest, sweetest thing to me, and if you're not with Him, I know what He's saying to you. He said to me, after He showed me my terrible life, He said, I never wanted your life to be like this. He said, I'd always wanted us to be together. And I know that's what God says to you, is that He wants you to be together with Him, with nothing in between. And this song is for you. Thorns on His head, spear in His side. Yeah, it was a heartache that made Him cry. He gave His life so you would understand. Is there any way you could say no to His pain? instruments. We got a request for a song actually, and we never do this because it's a piano song. He doesn't know it, it's a piano song, and yet we're going to do it. I'm not request this. I think we can, if we mess up, well,
We'll stop.
you'll forgive us. You have to, you're Christians. Little child in the dark, always one in our park. Not attracted to pleasant places. He was drawn to broken hearts and lonely faces. What would Jesus say? What would Jesus do? Where would Jesus go? We could go there too. He wants to love and love and through me and you. We must be His voice. We must be His hands. We must show His heart so they understand. Brothers and sisters, we've got His work to do. It's a labor of love. Do you hear the lost ones cry? Do we stop and walk on by? Now He waits for us to start, to be the expression of the Father's heart. What would Jesus say? What would Jesus do? Where would Jesus go? We gotta go there too. He wants to love and Steve. Thank you so much. Oh boy. Big self-acceptance. Repeat that? What'd you say?
Sing it, sister!
We really don't know that one, but that didn't stop us last time. So. He says we'll mess it up too much. Do you mind? I mean, I want to please you, believe me. Let's do the rest of
All right!
Now, I really do space on some of these words, so, like, you know, you can help me out if you know I'm maybe going to group song. recording the praise songs, I have all my non-Christian friends sing them. Sing that again. One more time. There is a river where mercy flows. I'm gonna follow where it goes, where it goes, where it goes, where it goes. Follow wherever it goes. There is a mountain that will cleanse all those who wash there from all sins, from all sins, all those who wash from all sins. There is a refuge for wounded souls, where broken hearts will be made whole, be made whole, be made whole. Broken hearts will be made whole. There was a deathbed in these tombs. There is a scar that heals all wounds, heals all wounds, heals all wounds. A scar that heals all wounds. There is one name that brings us home. It is no other than Christ alone. Christ alone, Christ alone, no other than Christ We're keeping you up late now. I think we've done all the songs we know and all the songs we don't know. So now we're going to repeat songs. We thought we'd just, since we're all fixing to get in our cars, we thought we'd just leave you with a little bit more of this Don't Let the Devil Ride. Perhaps a bit of snapping. Don't let the devil ride. Don't let the devil ride. Don't let the devil ride. Wants to ride. Don't let the devil ride.
Don't let him be your boss. Don't let him be your boss. Don't let him be your boss. Oh, Lord, don't let him be your boss.
Don't let him talk to you, but he can. Don't let him talk to you.
Don't let him talk to you.
You don't let him talk to you. We'll tell you what to do. Don't let him talk to you. Come on.
ladies and gentlemen. They just can't do any more. But what we have done tonight is talk to them, and they will be back here in April. So I just want to thank you for your response and give one last round of applause. Julie Miller.